playoffs, the league playoffs between Croatia Adria and Canadian Builders. And with me before the game starts is manager of Canadian Builders, Richard Paul. Richard, Croatia Adria have been undefeated in the league this year, and they got some heavy strikers like Chris Bosted. What do you think it's going to take to beat Adria this evening?
Well, I think, Michael, what it takes is a lot of determination, and I think my team has it tonight. They're up for the game tonight. I think it helped out on Saturday night with that defeat against App Construction, and they're really up. They've been here early, of course, as usual. They've been here at 6 o'clock, and I think what we're going to try to do is take control of the game right off the top and get the other team flustered.
Yeah, if you look at the mixture of the two teams, age-wise, I look at Croatia Adria, and I see a very young team versus Canadian Builders with the mix of younger and older players. But again, the older players on Canadian Builders have great experience and are an excellent soccer players. And do you think this will have a big impact on the game this evening?
Oh, I think it will. And that's where the experience is going to count, like I say, in taking over and control of the game. And we'll try to run them around and play the type of game that we're used to playing. And I think, hopefully, if everything goes well, I think I'm even going to make a prediction, Michael. I'm hopefully going to say it's going to be a 3-1 defeat for Canadian Builders.
Well, nothing, a defeat or a win?
A win. We're going to defeat them 3-1.
Okay. Well, nothing like confidence before the game.
That's right.
Thank you, Richard.
Thank you.
With me now is Stipe Malkovic, coach of Croatia Adria. And Stipe, even though your team has been undefeated in the league this year, what's the strategy going to be to beat Canadian Builders this evening?
Canadian Builders are a very strong team, very physical team, and I expect to be a very physical game. The only thing is try to play defense and build on that.
Do you think the youth of Croatia Adria will have an effect on the game versus the mixture of age on the Canadian Builders team?
We have an advantage of that, yes, and I expect that to be a factor later in the game.
Any predictions on the outcome of the game?
Yes, we're going to win the game.
Good. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Nice to see you again, Uncle Billy.
I gave up my fishing trip for this?
This is your family reunion. Look, there's Aunt Opal.
I'm sure she'll tell us all about her pickle relish.
Hi, Louie. Good to see you.
Hi. Hey, Jeff. How you doing? I'm fine. Good to see you. Look at this fish. That must weigh about 10 pounds.
10 pounds, 7 ounces. I caught it.
With what?
Aunt Opal's pickle relish. It works every time.
So, after the pickles, then what do you have?
Oh, cinnamon, of course.
Oh.
Oh, yes.
I suppose my great-grandfather used a relish.
Only when he wanted to catch the big ones. They all love to fish, and you're part of that tradition.
Yeah, no, I know.
Much of who we are, we owe to others, and understanding our past helps us better understand ourselves. From the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Welcome to Queens Athletic Field. This evening we have the Senior Men's Soccer Championship featuring in white, and on your right side of your screen, Croatia Adria, and on the left side of your screen in blue is Canadian Builders. This is Frank Malvaso along with Mike Dowling for a very interesting game. Play into action. Got the Canadian Builders with the team being challenged there by Brian Ashton. And Renato Nicolucci will take the free kick for Canadian Builders. Very early in this game, it looks like we may have a very aggressive game. Nicolucci now with a cross to the center. And we look like we've got an offside situation. We should mention, Mike, we have a very special official with us this evening.
Yes, we have the pleasure of having Bernie Andrews, who's a visitor here from Scotland and a member of the Western Scotland Referee Council. And he's doing officiating the game this evening. And on the lines is Johnny Muir and Tony Cirillo. So it'll be a very interesting game this evening, apart from the two good teams playing, but also from an officiating point of view that people will see a stricter style of officiating, I believe.
So we've got an international flavor to a local senior men's championship game. Referee has indicated that we have a free kick there awarded to, no, we have a throw-in. That's Pavicic. Far side. Let's see if we can pick up some of these players for you. That's Njoko now. Back to number 17, who gives it to Njoko. Scarcelloni is there to intercept for the Builders. Chisuki now, George Montasucci. Didn't pronounce that well, we'll try again here. That's Peter Severnik, the throw-in for Canadian Builders. Zuliani now, Apollo Zuliani. It's Ivo Bellio intercepts to Montasucci. Montezucchi, I mean. I said Montasucci. Montezucchi, I'm trying to make an Italian out of him. Well. Renato Nicolucci with a shot, and it's, whoa, okay. Chris Belanger, the goalie for the Builders, went one way and then the other way, but bottom line is he did get his hands on those balls, on that ball.
The field tonight is very wet, and I think you're going to see some of the one or either of the coaches tell his team to start giving a long ball down the middle, and because it's very hard for the defense to control.
Montezucchi there being bothered by Severnek, who prevails. Kresho Severnek with a back heel, but it's out of play, and George Montasucci will take the throw-in to Ivo Bellio. Bellio looks to Montasucci again, chips it on the inside to Brian Ashton for the Croatia Adria. Being bothered there by Di Giacomo. Referee sees too much obstruction, and Brian Ashton gets the better of that call, with Croatia receiving the free kick.
This is, by the way, Frank, not like in the past when we only had one league game per team. We used to have the best out of three for this final. This is a one-game final. If it's tied after 90 minutes, then we go into a half an hour overtime, and then if tied, we go into penalty shots. But it is only one game in the playoffs right now.
So it doesn't get any better than this, Mike. We've got the first and second place finishers for the league battling for the championship in the playoffs, and it all comes down to this game. And as you suggest, Mike, if it's not done in the first 90 minutes, we're looking at, what, 30-minute overtime and then penalty shots.
Well, I hope our director has lots of tape in the camera this evening, because I would probably predict that we would be going to overtime. It certainly has gone that way with these two teams in the past.
Zuliani, Chris Baustad does well to take that ball away. It's Snoffel now, Joseph Snoffel on the near side to Brian Ashton for the Croatia. I want to keep saying Builders. Joseph Snoffel again, chipped to the inside, but Scarcelloni is there. Scarcelloni on the near side here to number 15, Paolo Zuliani, to Kresho Severnek. Ivo Bellio takes that away, gets it back from George Montasucci. Back to Snoffel. Snoffel with a chip to the center, but Rob McTaggart is there for the Builders. McTaggart on the far side to Pressat. Di Giacomo back to Pressat now. Still with control of that ball. Still with the ball moving forward, looking for Americo Tantello, but Zvanko Vukovic clears it out. Di Giacomo now. Brian Ashton on the near side here to Snoffel. Snoffel and Baustad. Snoffel moves the ball forward, but Baustad is too far away. Robert McTaggart now back to Palladino. Robert Palladino to Scarcelloni. Scarcelloni to Severnek. Kresho Severnek to Zuliani. Paolo Zuliani with his number to your front of you. And Chris Belanger, the goalie for Croatia Adria, scoots out and retrieves that ball. Belanger with a nice long boot. D'Agostino is up to get that. Martic now, Di Giacomontoni and Ashton. Tantello, Americo Tantello with a chip forward to Di Giacomontonio. Svanko Vukovic is there. And he directs that ball out of play. Both teams, needless to say, a little bit tentative, but they're two well-balanced teams, and we should see a very, very good contest tonight.
Yeah, we got the youth of Adria, and then we got the mixture of youth and experience with Canadian Builders. So we've seen some excellent games this year with both of these teams.
So the referee has indicated a corner kick for Canadian Builders. It looks like that ball that came to the hands of the goalkeeper, Chris Belanger, was a little bit on the slippery side, and he had to pull that ball out of play, resulting in a corner kick.
Yeah, as I said before, a good tactic on either team would be give those long balls in because it's very hard to control.
Giacomontoni in the box to D'Agostino. D'Agostino, who is a threat in the box, got his head on it, but referee has indicated an infraction of sorts that we didn't pick up, but Croatia Adria will get a free kick from approximately the 6-yard line.
Should like to mention too, in the final playoff of the first division, it went to penalty shots last night between Bryston's and Italia Flyers #2, and Italia Flyers won the playoffs on penalty kicks. So another exciting game in men's soccer here.
So we extend our congratulations to Italia Flyers #1 team in the first division, #2 team in the first division, for winning the championship there. Brian Ashton inside the box now, being challenged there by Severnik. Brian still with the ball, chips it towards the center, intercepted by Di Giacomontonio. Di Giacomontonio moving forward, ball bounces a bit, and Ivo Bellio is able to get his foot on it first. Snoffel being tackled by behind, but it's Martic now. Martic to, I think that's Joshua Shannon on the far side, #5. But unfortunately it goes out of bounds. So it's Prasad with the throw-in to Americo Tantello, but Martic, #17 for Croatia Adria, is there to intercept that ball.
Yeah, I'd like to take the opportunity of thanking the people at the Parks and Recreation this afternoon, Gleda Del Bosco and Rick Gardner. When the lawnmower was cutting the grass here, left some tracks, and when I phoned them, they got down here right away, and with the help of Dan Madigan here, rolled the center of the field and took the bumps out.
Ball off of Luciano Valley, and that ball goes wide. It's Paulo Zuliani now, #15 for the Canadian Builders, being challenged by George Motozuki, but Chris Belanger, that ball is slippery. He's having a hard time hanging on to it, and yet we see another corner kick off the goalie. So Canadian Builders will get their second corner kick of this match.
Yeah, do you not agree, Frank, that it is very hard for the goaltenders to hold the ball here? The ball is skidding along the grass, the wet grass, and very, very hard. So either team has got to be sending players in there looking for the rebound.
You're right, Mike. That could be the difference in this game. So the plan should be to get as many shots as you can on the goalie. Another nice cross, deflected well by, I believe that was Ivo Bellio. Di Giacomontonio. Finally, it's Brian Ashton prevails, coming up, chips it forward, couldn't get it to Chris Bausted. Scarcelloni now for the Canadian Builders, looks to the inside for Nicolucci. Nicolucci with a ball in the center. Zvankovic is up there first. Brian Ashton, far pass to Chris Bausted, too far as that ball goes well into the end of the Canadian Builders, and Palladino is there to scoop it up for Scarcelloni. Scarcelloni to McTaggart, Robert McTaggart, chips it to Nicolucci, Renato Nicolucci now. Ball stripped away by Chris Bausted, coming back into the play. Nice move by Bausted. It's Brian Ashton now. Brian Ashton with a pass to Vukovic. Svankovic with Vukovic with a pass, but that gets intercepted, and it's Ivo Bellio now going back to get the rebound. Ivo not taking any chances and directs that ball out of play.
Yeah, I think the last play we seen with Brian Ashton giving a long ball. Of course, he's looking for Chris Bosted, who happens to be the leading goal scorer in this division. So I think you'll see a lot of that.
So Chris Bausted is the key man, and they're making an effort to get that ball to him. Nick Pavicic with a long reaching ball to Nujoko, and D'Agostino is there to head it first. It's Pressot now, retrieves that ball. Pressot with some time, moves it to Di Giacomo Antonio. Moving up the field, a chip forward to Croatia Severnik. Looks like Martic is up there first. Renato Nicolucci chips it forward nicely to Peter Severnik on the near side. Being bothered there by George Montezuki, and Montezuki is able to direct that ball out of harm's way. Approximately 12 minutes gone in the first quarter of this championship game. We have a 0-0 game, Croatia Adria and the Canadian Builders team. Throw in to Zljani, and that gets directed out of bound, and we will have a goal kick for Croatia Adria.
Game getting very tentative at the moment there with the both of these teams. I think they're feeling one another out, and I think the action is going to liven up pretty soon with the some more long balls in here.
So both teams trying to take advantage of the playing conditions. Bausted chips it forward nicely to Ashton. Ashton can't retrieve that ball, and the Builders will have a throw-in. Robert McTaggart, he launches that ball back to the goalie, Robert Palladino. And that ball will get again launched into the air. Bounces. Nick Pavlovic is there to retrieve it. It's Brian Ashton now. Brian Ashton gets the ball back, tries to hit Chris Bausted, but that's a little bit on the far side. Robert Palladino now with Robert McTaggart. Palladino taking his time. And launches it one more time. This time it's intercepted by the Croatian team. Back to Brian Ashton. Ashton chipping it back, still with control of that ball. Being bothered there by Luciano Valli. Brian Ashton trying to get through. D'Agostino doesn't. But Nujoko receives the errant pass. On the near side here to Joseph Snoffel. Croatia with a chip in the center, but there isn't anybody there. And we've got Paulo Zuliano who receives that ball from the hand of Robert Palladino. Back to McTaggart. McTaggart with a long crossing pass to Pressot. Pressot in the middle to Nicolucci. Nicolucci back on the far side to Manrico Tantello, but that's too far.
You're looking at the formation of Adria's team this evening, and you can see where they got the two strikers up front. And Brian Ashton is playing up and down in the middle just to feed those two players with the long balls, because they certainly got the speed, Frank.
Nick Pavicic, the clearing pass in the center. It's Croatia Severnik there first. Nicolucci back to Severnik. Severnik launches one to the near side, and that looks like it's going out of play. So we have yet another throw-in for Croatia Adria. That certainly looks like to be the strategy for Croatia, Mike. Both Nujoko and Chris Bausted are top scorers in this league, and so the Croatia team is content to feed them and let them do their usual damage. It's Svanko Vukovic giving that away to Nicolucci. Nicolucci with a chip, but there isn't anybody there, and so Croatia will have a goal kick one more time.
On the Canadian Builders side, you know, Nicolucci is Renato is trying to feed Sevniak or Di Giacomo Antonio, and I think you're going to see that for a while yet in the game.
Bausted to Snoffel, back to Bausted, and Di Giacomo Antonio taking no prisoners as he pounces that ball out of the area. Ooh. Chris Belanger, unfortunately, the ball bouncing out of the box, and Chris having to reach out with his hands, but he is clearly out of the box, so Canadian Builders will get a free kick just outside the 18-yard box. It's a dangerous situation for the Canadian Builders as they have a number of tall players in the front that'll position themselves for a header. Renato Nicolucci doing the honors, chip into the box. Vukovic prevails. Gets it on the near side to Bausted. Bausted back to Snoffel. Snoffel being challenged there by Severnek. And referee has indicated a foul against Severnek. And the Croatia Adria team will get a free kick from there. Referee talking to Mr. Severnek, saying, let's be careful. Ivo Bellio with a nice kick to the center. Nicolucci deflects it back to McTaggart. Robert McTaggart with all kinds of room back there. Croatia content to let him control the ball, which may or may not be a good strategy. In any event, it's Enrico Tantello with the ball, intercepted nicely by Nick Pavicic. Di Giacomo Antonio takes it right back, and Martic now clears that ball off of Di Giacomo Antonio, so we have a throw-in for Croatia Adria.
Yeah, we seen referee Bernie Andrews that time talking to Sevniak. It wasn't a severe tackle, but like most European referees, they will tell the player, continue that, and the next action will be a card.
So we've got Martic now, intercepted by Scarsaloni to Zuliani. Zuliani on the near side, back to Krešo Severnek. Chip inside, or just the top of the box, but Svanko Vukovic prevails one more time. Svanko playing a good game as sweeper back there for Croatia Adria. Peter Severnek, a real battler for these Canadian Builder teams with the ball now. Chips it on the far side to Pressat, number 4 for Canadian Builders. Chip into the box, again intercepted nicely by Vukovic. Bowstead trying to get the ball up, but McTaggart is there by himself. Nicolucci with a chip ball, and we've got ourselves an offside situation. Tony Cirillo, the linesman on the near side, indicating that Peter Severnek, or Krešo Severnek, was offside. Big number 9 for Croatia Adria, Svanko Vukovic. Shot in the middle, Snoffel. Pressat now, chips it back. This looks like it'll run to Chris Belanger. It does. Belanger scooping that ball over and giving some direction to his players. Drop kick into the center. Scarsaloni's up to Paolo Zuliani. Intercepted, Mr. Ivo Bellio gets a foot on that ball and directs it at play, so the Builders will have a throw-in. Renato Nicolucci, number 6, retrieving that ball, and Mike, if there was ever a player that played with a lot of heart and guts and determination, I think Renato would probably get that award.
Well, I think Renato is probably worth about 3 players out there. He doesn't quit. He's plays for 90 minutes. I've seen him playing with a broken rib. We had the pleasure of him being on the All-Star team last year, which I was involved in, and he was here an hour before the practice began. So that tells you how much heart he has, and he's an excellent ball player, an excellent soccer player.
We should mention that Renato is not a superstitious player by no means. As you probably already noted, he wears number 13. And if past performance is an indication, he is clearly not intimidated at all by superstition. In any event, it's Paolo Zuliani with his back. Snoffel is able to get a piece of that ball, and Canadian Builders will take the throw-in. Scarsaloni, number 3 for Canadian Builders, with the throw-in. Looks for Paolo Zuliani. A referee has indicated that Mr. Scarsaloni has taken one big giant step past the line, scrimmage line, and so quite rightly, ball is awarded to Croatia Adria. Ivo Bellio, throw into Snoffel, back to Bellio. Bellio having a difficult time keeping that ball in, and Renato Nicolucci will take the ball to Di Giacomo Antonio. Di Giacomo Antonio on the far side to Pressat. Canadian Builders team moving in. Enrico Tantello gives that away to Brian Ashton. Ashton streaking up the field, forward to, looks like Martic, Shanahan, one of the two. No, that's Joshua Shannon. And unfortunately, that ball goes a little bit too far to the hands of the keeper, who passes it here on the near side to Nicolucci, to Severnek. Snoffel is there to intercept. Builders will get a throw-in back to Robert Palladino.
Yeah, the trophy that the teams are playing for this evening is the league playoff trophy, which is the Bristol Machine Trophy, and that was first played for in 1967. And actually the first winners of this cup was Croatia Adria.
So there we go. We'll see if they can become the latest winners.
And I should tell you that the last winners of this cup was Canadian Builders, and
so there we go. We got the first and the last. So
the last time Croatia Adria won the Bristol Machine Trophy was in 1988, and that's from a reliable source. I took it right from the trophy.
Severnak giving that ball away to Montezucchi. Ooh, and Peter Severnak with a very tough tackle into George Mochizuki, and George looks like he's okay.
Well, I mentioned earlier on that Bernie Andrews, the European-style referee, he will talk to the player usually in the beginning of the tackle isn't too severe, and he will usually tell him that next time that happens, you're going to get carded, and this is exactly what he has done right now.
So Peter Severnak with a yellow caution. And the rules of soccer are such that if you receive another such yellow caution in the course of the game, then you are ejected for the balance of the game. We also should note that we have an injured player, number 3, Scarcelloni. I'm not sure exactly how he got injured, but in any event, it looks like he may have a bit of a leg problem there. Still trying to walk it off.
The nice thing about tonight's game here, we got lots of people here tonight, and I should point out it's the last game of the season, Frank, after about 184 games or something like that. And we are certainly, as president of the Men's Soccer League, grateful to Mike Jemison and Keith Larson and all the volunteers who come here and televise the games for us. The soccer people in Sudbury certainly appreciate the support of TV7.
Brian Ashton launches that ball on the far side, comes back to Americo Tantello, number 19 for the Builders, who in turn kicks that ball forward. Chris Belanger launches it one more time, but that's out of play. You're right, Mike, and actually we should note that as president of the Senior Men's League, you've done an excellent job in organizing this thing, and as a matter of fact, when we look at this championship game and all of the things that we were able to accomplish all year long, I should restate you did a very, very excellent job.
Well, I thank you, Frank, and I thank you certainly on behalf of the executive.
So we've got, looks like the Giacomo Antonio, we've got a new player on the field in the form of Don Prest for Canadian Builders, and he's changed sides with Don Pressot. Pressot. But right now it's Croatia Adria. Looks like it's Martic. No, it's Ivo Belja moving forward, still with that ball, moving forward. Almost to the box, takes a shot with his left foot, but can't get any good position on that ball in terms of directing it towards the net. And Robert Palladino just scoops up the rebound.
Yeah, one thing I noticed, you look at the Canadian Builders bench, they got Danny Palladino is stripped tonight, and that's nice to see Dan back after a severe injury to his ankle. Dan is an excellent player, and they got lots of depth on the bench tonight.
Joshua Shannon now battling with Don Prest, gets that ball through, but D'Agostino McTaggart now gets that ball away. That looks like it's, there it's Nicolucci now on the inside to Giacomo Antonio. Chips it here on the near side to Pressot, and Pressot rebounds it off a Snoffel. So the Builders will get another throw in. Nicolucci now, Renato Nicolucci chips it forward. That ball looks like it's gone out of play, so the Builders in the form of Renato Nicolucci will take another throw in.
Well, it certainly seems after approximately nearly 25 minutes played that, and the score is 0-0, that both teams are still feeling one another out.
Brian Ashton with a bit of a scissors kick. Tries to keep that ball in play, but is unsuccessful in doing it. And yet, one more time, we'll see Renato Nicolucci take the throw in, this time from a step or so back. And he launches that ball to Severnek. Severnek to Nicolucci. Nicolucci on the inside. Svanko Vukovic gets it to Joshua Shannon. Joshua Shannon trying to get the outside. He does. Being challenged there by Americo Tantello. Shannon does a good job of continuing. Unfortunately lost control of the ball at that point. But up until that point, did very well to try to control the ball. It's a Canadian Builder team, Mike, with a lot of substitutes sitting on the bench.
Oh, yeah, you're right. There's you got guys like Dave Barrett and Mario Cherry, and there's Mike Timpano, excellent players, and they got a lot of more depth compared to Croatia Adria, who have lost some of their players to the universities and are probably missing one of their better players, or one of the better players in the league.
So Croatia Adria with 2 substitution, and it looks like the Canadian Builders have at least 7 or 8. And we'll see how that impacts on this game. Builders with another corner kick. That ball's up in the air. D'Agostino one more time, but it's wide of the net. Don Prest on the far side for the Builders, chips it forward. Joshua Shannon loses it to Giacomo Antonio. Got a bit of an infraction there, and referee awards the free kick to the Builders. And
yeah, and that last play, corner kick there, I think Croatia Adria better watch Mario D'Agostino, because Mario is very good in the air and has scored quite a few goals in the air from corner kicks.
Another chip in the box, but Chris Belanger is up for the test and is able to hang on to that ball. Belanger now with a long boot, middle of the field. Prest is up. Severnek back to Pressat. Pressat to Nicolucci. Nicolucci launches another one forward, but that's out of play. Looks like the Canadian Builders want to test the young goalie in the form of Chris Belanger by getting as many balls as they can up forward and in the box.
Well, as I said, the danger for Adria right now is giving away those corner kicks, because you got big players coming in there like Mario D'Agostino, and is very, very good in the air.
So we've got a throw-in reversal, and ball, referee says, didn't come over the head of the player, so Renato Nicolucci will take the throw-in. He's got Zuliani, Paolo Zuliani on the far side, but that ball gets played out of bounds. And it looks like a Canadian, Croatia Adria will have the throw-in. George Montechuk kicks that ball forward. Njoku Njoku. And now we've got Brian Ashton. Brian Ashton turning with that ball on the inside to Martic. Martic still with control of that ball, chips it forward to Njoku. That ball gets clipped up by Nicolucci. Giacomo Antonio gets the rebound now and chips it here on the far side. Paolo Zuliani against Belanger, but Belanger is there first with a bit of a slide. Belanger now to Joseph Snoffel. Snoffel with a pass to the inside. Nicolucci against Brian Ashton. Referee indicates a bit of a challenge from behind, so Croatia Adria, Svanko Vukovic will take the free kick. Approximately 50 minutes left in this game. We still have a 0-0 situation. Pressat now back to Bellio, Severnek, Machizuki, D'Agostino, and finally Svanko stops that ball. Svanko on the near side here to Ashton and Chris Bousted, but McTaggart does well to get 1 foot on that ball. Had he not, we would have had 2 Croatia Adria players streaking down the field towards the goal. It's Bellio now, shot off of D'Agostino. Don Pressat with a long ball to Tantello. Nick Pavicic there against Tantello, and Pavicic doesn't take any chances and directs the ball out of play.
Yeah, good defensive play there by Rob McTaggart. Rob is another player like Renato Nicolucci. He's one of the most experienced players and stabilizes that Canadian Builders defense.
So we've got Joshua Shannon now at that ball, puts it through to Brian Ashton. Brian Ashton on the far side by himself, trying to get past D'Agostino. He does, moving in, chips it nicely to the front. Pressod is able to get a piece of it. Brian Ashton with a good run on the far side, beating two of the Builders players, but nobody was in front. It's Nicolucci now. Renato Nicolucci, as this goes end to end. Nicolucci's coming down the field, but Ivo Bellio is able to strip it away. Comes back to Bellio. Bellio still in control of that ball. He's bothered there from behind by Zuliani, but Bellio prevails, still moving forward. Gets it nicely to Ashton, Brian Ashton, with a nice chip to Joshua Shannon. Joshua Shannon at the top of the 18-yard line. Shannon with a shot, and a goal by Chris Bowstead.
Beautiful play there by from Ashton to Shannon on the wing, and Shannon made a clear in, and as usual, the striker for Adria and leading goal scorer in the league, Bowstead, was there and doesn't make any mistake, Frank.
At about the 13.5-minute mark, Croatia Adria draws first blood with a beautiful goal from Shannon to Chris Bowstead. We should also give credit there to Ivo Bellio, by the way, who came from nowhere and then brought that ball forward. So
yeah, he put the ball, he brought it forward in the center of the field, gave it to Brian Ashton. Ashton, smart player, put the ball through the gap, and Shannon came onto it, and of course, even with a Canadian Builders defender on Bowstead, Bowstead doesn't make any mistakes in front of that goal, and he certainly, you could see a rattle around the top of the net there.
Chris Bowstead with the golden shoe, Mikey, against the Flyers with literally 10 seconds left on the clock. It had an incredible goal that put them into this championship game. He just keeps rolling on.
Again, as we remarked earlier on in the game, Juco, there's Brian Ashton and there's Bowstead, and they start to get the combination with two guys up front with that speed. You better have your sweeper way back.
Nicolucci now for the Builders. We've got a couple of substitutions which we'll tell you about. One of them was Michael Timpano, who just delivered that ball to Nicolucci. Steve Giacomontonio now puts that ball up. Nick Pavicic allows it to bounce to the keeper, Chris Belanger. And Mr. Belanger will look at his options. And unfortunately, one of them was not to kick it out of bounds, but that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, I should point, excuse me, Frank, I should point out too, when we mentioned that Chris Bowstead scored 18 goals in the league, that's not counting. We don't count goals that are scored in cup play, so he scored another 7 or 8 goals in cup play.
Njoku now with a pass to Snoffel on the near side, but that's a little bit too far, and Robert Palladino cranks that ball towards the Croatian goal. It's Brian Ashton in the center of the field now. Brian Ashton again, he's going to chip that forward. He does. To Shannon again. It's Joshua Shannon one more time, and this time Don Press says it ain't going to happen twice and kicks that ball out of play.
Well, a little more pressure from Adria in the last 5 or 10 minutes of the game, and they're certainly putting the pressure on the wings of Canadian Builders at the moment.
Njoku launches one into the top of the box. A couple of players go up. Di Giacomontonio, it's Vanko Vukovic with a shot. I'm sorry, that was Ivo Bellio with a shot, but Robert Palladino is there to corral it. Long throw to, I think that's Mario Cherry now, who's on the field for the Builders. In any event, it's Shannon to Njoku to Bowstead. McTaggart is there to intercept, and it's Di Giacomontonio who collects that ball. Di Giacomontonio gives it away to Bellio. Ivo Bellio, who comes in there hard and fast, strips that ball away from Di Giacomontonio. So with about 10 minutes left in this contest, Croatia Adria enjoys a 1-0 goal lead. George Montasuki Pressot now to Nicolucci to Timpano on the near side to Sevenek, but that goes out of bounds.
I think after that goal by Croatia Adria, you see Canadian Builders made a change right away, which was Mike Timpano, but I think before this game ends, you're going to see Dan Palladino in there, and because Danny is an excellent player.
Got a high ball, Snoffel and Timpano going up for it. Nicolucci now chips it forward. Ivo Bellio, it's Snoffel. Nicolucci now. Nicolucci still with that ball. Passes to the Cherry. Cherry chips to the inside. Machisuki there, unfortunately, rebounds it to Timpano. Michael Timpano, a chip on the far side of Barrett. Barrett with his attempted header. But David Barrett not able to direct it towards the net. And the Builders, unfortunately, squander a very good scoring opportunity.
Yeah, Dave Barrett usually more accurate with the high balls coming across and heading them. I think maybe that ball is a little wet tonight, and it just kind of slid off his forehead.
A couple of players battling for that ball. Pavicic now, Di Giacomo Antonio to Mario Cherry. Cherry pumps that ball in the center again. It's Barrett, but George Machisuki wins it. It's Don Press now for the Builders, moving to the center of the field. Passes it to Nicolucci, intercepted nicely by Ivo Bellio. And once again, Mike D'Agostino chipping it back to McTaggart. Robert McTaggart now. Njoku challenging, but McTaggart is able to easily get away from him. Don Press now with the ball for the Builders. Chips it forward. Bellio there one more time. And it's, who is that? Mario Cherry battling with a couple of Croatian players. Referee says free kick to the Builders. And Robert McTaggart, with approximately 18 minutes left in this first half, will take this free kick. Another chip into the box. They're testing Belanger. Oh, bit of a high ball. D'Agostino making contact with Belanger, but Belanger is able to hold onto the ball. Nice kick by Belanger in the center of the field. Nicolucci with Bowstead. Pressed now, kicking on the far side. Pavicic. Builders seem a little bit on the anxious side, putting long balls into the Croatia-Adria zone. McTaggart now switches it by moving it on the near side to Press. Press to Timpano. Timpano stripped of that ball by Bellio. Bellio, I'm sorry, that's Severnek. Severnek doesn't get it anywhere, and that bounces off a Press. It's Severnek again for the ball for the Builders. Chips it in. Nobody's there other than the goalkeeper, and Chris Belanger snuggles with that ball, wanting to give away no rebounds. Njoku up with D'Agostino. D'Agostino prevails. This time it's Ashton. Referee says Mr. Ashton used a bit of his elbow there, so the Builders will get a free kick. Robert McTaggart, the quarterback for this Canadian Builder team, will deliver this ball yet one more time. Into the box, Svanko Vukovic is there. Brian Ashton on the far side. Throw in to Njoku. It's Shannon with that ball. It's Njoku now. Njoku rebounds it off a few players. Bellio now with that ball. Still with control of that ball, moving forward. Referee indicates that D'Agostino stepped in front of Bellio, and so we will get a free kick for Croatia-Adria. Number 9, Svanko Vukovic, the sweeper for the Croatian-Adria team, and a very solid defender, will do the honors. Pass in the front to Chris Bowstead. Bowstead losing that ball to Di Giacomo Antonio. Crescio now moving the ball on the other side, but Mario Cherry is not able to put his brakes on and slides, losing control of that ball. Throw in now to Shannon. To Giacomo Antonio. Shannon again. Ball goes to the center, and it's pressed out, I should say now. That's pressed. Don Press to Nicolucci. Nicolucci to Timpano on the near side. Timpano loses that ball. A little bit of anxiousness there on the Canadian players. It may be the wet conditions as well. But in any event, it's Ivo Bellio, number 6, giving it to George Machisuki. George to Bowstead. Bowstead reaches down. Brian Ashton being bumped from behind, and referee quite appropriately gives a free kick to the Croatia-Adrian team. Svanko Vukovic taking his time as his players move into position. This will clearly go into the box. It does, and a few players move in. Palladino is there to retrieve that ball quite handily. Long pass on the near side. There isn't any Builder players here, and worse than that, the ball bounces out of play.
It seems the play is starting to swing from one team to the other during this game. For 10 minutes there, Adria were really pressing Canadian Builders, and then Canadian Builders come back and are swaying back and forth here all the time. The thing Adria don't want to do is, even though they're one up, is start going back on the fence, because that's how you're going to lose soccer games.
George Machasuki now. Timpano on the inside. It's Ashton. Ashton with control of that ball, nicely moving forward. Still moving forward, the pass. Oh, that ball intercepted nicely by Robert McTaggart. A bouncing ball. To Giacomo Antonio on the far side to Mario Cherry. Cherry looking to turn. Being bothered by Pavlovic. Oh, and it's Brian Ashton who goes down and takes a bit of a knock at the foot of Mario Cherry. Throw in over here to Nicolucci. Renato Nicolucci now with that ball. Chips it forward to Peter Severnek. In the front to Mario Cherry. That ball one's a little bit too far for Mario Cherry, as their Canadian Builders had another opportunity that potentially could have led to a goal.
Yeah, ball is very hard to control. The field is very damp and slippery, and the ball is inclined to skid off the grass. Those balls that come in not too high, and very hard to control.
Robert McTaggart now to D'Agostino. D'Agostino to Nicolucci, intercepted there by Bellio. Ivo Bellio chipped nicely by Bausted to Snoffel. Snoffel back to Bausted. Bausted intercepted nicely by Pressot. Nicolucci losing it to Ashton, but Giacomo Antonio gets the ball. He loses it again. Couple of bounces there, as neither team is able to control it. Finally, it's Pressot. Timpano back to McTaggart. Robert McTaggart now at the ball, not being challenged by the Croatian player. Plays it to Severnek. Severnek tries to turn with that ball. Gets it to Di Giacomo Antonio. Marino Di Giacomo Antonio tries to turn, but an excellent job done by Machasuki, George Machasuki, to make sure that he doesn't turn. So we've got approximately 2.5 minutes left. Croatia Adria still enjoys a 1-0 lead. And we've got a throw in here from David Barrett, a long launch directed in front of the net, and Brian Ashton takes no chances. Ball gets cleared out of the way, and it's Press. Press bounces that ball in the center to Peter Severnek. Crosses it nicely, but Martic is there, number 17 for Croatia Adria, to clear it. Di Giacomo Antonio up. It's David Barrett with a shot. Oh, off the post, another shot, but that goes way high. David Barrett with a nice attempt, but it comes off the crossbar.
Yeah, we should tell our viewers that if the ball hits the first crossbar or the lower one, the ball is still in play. If it hits the other part over that, the other crossbar, then that is out of play. But if it hits the lower one and comes back in, the play still goes on. But good play by by Belanger to get up there. You can get fooled there with the lights coming down at you and the wet conditions.
So Zvanko Vukovic now with another launch into the center of the field. It's Njoku now. Nicolucci, Bausted kicking that ball forward, trying to get Palladino off guard. Not able to do so. Palladino with a nice long kick into the center. Shannon goes up for it. Ashton now with Nicolucci. Finally, it's Snoffel that prevails. Joseph Snoffel now with the ball. Chips it forward to Njoku. McTaggart there passing it to Pressot. Pressot to Timpano. Timpano back to Pressot. To Nicolucci. Nice passing plays by the Builders. It's now D'Agostino who gets the ball. Ooh. Referee says play on, and finally it comes back to Joseph Snoffel. It's Martic now with the ball. Losing it to Snoffel. Snoffel with that ball. Barrett battling. Chips it back to Di Giacomo Antonio. Di Giacomo Antonio on the far side, but Pavicic is there to bang it out of harm's way. McTaggart now with nobody around him. Passes that ball easily to Giacomo Antonio, and we've got ourselves, we're going to say offside, but it's the end of the first half. So at the end of 45 minutes, we have Canadian Builders 0 and Croatia Adria 1. We'll be back after these brief messages.
there's so many puppies and kittens in animal shelters?
The males get together with the females.
Thank you, Rue. We had no idea.
I'll bet pet owners think a litter would be cute.
Well, they think it's unnatural to deprive their pets of a sex life.
My veterinarian says animals don't have a sex life. It's strictly a biological function.
So millions of animals are born.
Only to die. We should spay and neuter our pets. Pet overpopulation is a tragedy. There's nothing cute about it.
There's nothing natural about it.
And there's certainly nothing sexy about it.
Prevent It Litter Sudbury reminds you that over 120,000 animals are destroyed each year in Ontario alone. A serious pet overpopulation problem exists right here in our community. Consult your veterinarian about having your pet sterilized today. A female kitten should be spayed at 5 to 6 months of age, and a male neutered as early as 7 months. If you are in genuine need of financial assistance to have your cat fixed, call PALS. PALS is a non-profit organization that gratefully accepts donations.
Hi, I'm Melanie Dahl from Q92 Radio. Join me for We Can't Live Without You, a series presented by the Kidney Foundation of Canada, examining issues facing those with chronic illnesses, right here on Cable 7.
Hello, I'm Shelley Martell. I'm the member of Provincial Parliament for the riding of Sudbury East. I represent the New Democratic Party. I hope you can join me here at Cable 7 in watching my show, Provincial Report. I think you'll find it interesting.
Watching your local Northern Cable Community Television channel.
Okay, so we're ready for the second half of this championship game. This is Frank Malvasso along with Mike Dowling. We have in front of you the in blue Canadian Builders and in white and blue Croatia Adria. And as you can see, the score is 1-0 in favor of Croatia Adria. So we've got the play on the center of the field. That's D'Agostino on the near side here to Prest. Don Prest being bothered by Svalina. Michael Svalina very easily kicks that ball out of play. Canadian Builders with a situation of having to try to get that goal back to even up the score. Di Giacomo Antonio now back to Prest. Prest turns to the inside, chips it over. But Bellio is there, intercepted by Prest to Nicolucci. Nicolucci on the far side to Cherry. Mario Cherry chips it through, but that ball's out of play.
Yeah, I noticed Mike Svalina came in for the second half. The viewers should know some of these players have part-time jobs and go to school, go to university during the day, so he was working late tonight, but got here for the second half and may make a difference to Adria up front.
Chris Bousted, our goal scorer, now at that ball, gives it away to, hang on, we've got Michael Timpano running for that ball against Svanko Vukovic. We've got some substitutions here that we need to tell you about. Coming into the play for the Builders is number 23, Joe Taco. So he'll be in addition to our current array of players that are out in the field. We've got a throw-in now, Renato Nicolucci, who launches that ball up in the air. That's strange. In any event, it's Ivo Bellio gets it back to Nicolucci. Nicolucci with a shot, and that ball just goes wide of the far post. Chris Belanger hugging that post and making sure that it didn't get between him and the post. And so we've got a goal kick for Croatian Adria team.
Yeah, the goaltenders have got to be very careful here as it gets dark and the lights. You get the shadows on the field, and the goaltender, it looks very bright on your screen when you're watching, but when you're out there, it's a little darker.
David Barrett now gives that ball away to Njoko, and Njoko rebounds that ball off a bit Barrett. So Croatia Adria, in the form of Nick Pavicic, will take the throw-in. Pavicic to Bousted. Bousted chipping it forward. Giacomontonio's there. Long boot. Vukovic is up there first. Barrett intercepts. Pavicic is able to get in front of that one. It's pressed now for the Builders. Crossing that ball to the far side of Timpano. Timpano back to Cherry. Mario Cherry with some time. Chips it. Loses that ball to Shannon. Joshua Shannon. Shannon moves forward with that ball. Chips it nicely to Svalina. Might be a little bit on too far side. It is. Di Giacomontonio makes the turn, but it's Bousted. Chris Bousted being all over the field, doing a very good job. Pushing it forward and back to Chris Bousted. Still moving in towards the box. Now to the outside. Crosses it, but is intercepted by the Builders. McTaggart now with that ball to Prest as the Builders not sure exactly how to clear that ball. Barrett. David Barrett now with the ball, chipping it back to McTaggart. Robert McTaggart turning. Still with that ball, being bothered by Njoko. Di Giacomontonio on the far side, giving that one away. And it's Svanko, but it's George Manchizuki getting a bounce. Peter Kresho-Severnek does a good job of getting in front of that ball first, but it will go out of bounds, and we'll have a throw-in here for the Croatia Adria team. Nick Pavicic to Brian Ashton. Ashton is called for an infraction, and so the Builders, Robert McTaggart, will take the free kick for the Canadian Builders team. 5 minutes having gone in the second half. Canadian Builders down by 1 goal. Robert McTaggart doing the honors. Long ball into the box. Referee has indicated offside, and it looks like it might have been Mario D'Agostino.
Yeah. I think Mario was, I don't think the linesman had any problem calling the offside there. I think Mario was way in behind the Adria defense, and of course that was an offside, and it'll be a free kick out for Adria.
Svanko Vukovic chips that ball into the air. Prest is there first. Pavicic, it's Timpano now with that ball to the outside. Timpano still with control of that ball. And Vukovic. Chip, that ball gets cleared out of the harm's way. So as we just exchanged some information here on the in the booth, we can get back to the play here. Okay, it's Svanko Vukovic here. Sorry for that pause. Svanko Vukovic, if we ever get a close-up of number 9, he's got a armband, a black armband, and maybe we could talk about that a little bit when we get another close-up shot of him. Bellio back to George Manchizuki, to Njoko. Chris Bousted now receives that errant pass. Bousted moving forward to Brian Ashton. Ashton turning with that ball. Chips it on the inside, but it's Di Giacomontonio, and that's Ashton there who intercepts. Ashton one more time. Severnek now with the ball. Ivo Bellio now looks like he's directed that ball out of play, and it's Mario Cherry to Renato Nicolucci. That one rebounds off from Renato Nicolucci, and it'll be a free kick for Croatia Adria. Ivo Bellio, number 6 for Croatia Adria. And we've got the referee has instructed Brian Ashton and Robert McTaggart to his attention. And it looks like he maybe have given them some instruction with respect to what is going on in the game. In any event, we've got the balls to Ashton. No, it's Di Giacomontonio now. Nicolucci chips it forward nicely. Di Giacomontonio with the ball. Being bothered by Ashton. Di Giacomontonio looks like it's out of bounds. Referee or the linesman on that side has raised a flag, so we can infer that in fact it went out of bounds, and the Croatia Adria team will get a throw-in. George Machasuki. Another infraction by Renato Nicolucci, bumping Brian Ashton, and so the Croatian Adria team will get a free kick. It's Mr. Vukovic, Svanko Vukovic. You'll see the black markings on his arm. Unfortunately, Svanko's dad passed away this year, and those that know the Vukovic family know that Mr. Vukovic was an ardent follower of soccer, and so in his honor, his son, Svanko, has elected to wear that band, and it'll be nice to see if they can get a victory as a bit of a gesture. It's Timpano now for the Builders on the outside, and George Machasuki does a good job of directing it wide.
Yeah, the pace is starting to pick up a little faster now after the first half break, and I think it's going to get a little more tense as the time marches on here in this half.
Canadian Builders are noted as a very, very intense team when they're down by one, so we can anticipate a lot of pressure and certainly a lot of movement and play by the Builders. And there's a shot by the Builders, but that's far and wide. Builders have the ability to crank up the pace of a game, and especially when they're down, it's not uncommon them move from a game of medium pace to a game of extreme fast pace. So they're not out of it by a long stretch, Mike.
No, one thing, Canadian Builders, as you mentioned, Canadian Builders play for 90 minutes. It doesn't matter how many goals they're down. So any team thinks they're secure with a 1-goal lead against Canadian Builders, it'll get a rude awakening.
So it's Martic there to Vukovic, Svanko. Svanko passes that ball to Cherry. It's now George Machasuki. Martic now to Machasuki. Machasuki passes over here to Shannon. Shannon not able to keep it in. Referee linesman indicates another throw in to the Builders. And I believe that's Mario Cherry on the far side to D'Agostino. Intercepted there by Bausted. Bausted to Svalina. Mike Svalina now chips it forward, but that's too far. And in fact, we had an offside situation by Nujoko, so Builders will get a free kick. McTaggart to Mario Cherry on the far side. Shannon in front of him to Timpano. Timpano not able to keep it in, and so yet we have another throw in for the Builders. Most of the play seeming to take place on the far side of the fields. Approximately 10 minutes expired, and we still have a 1-0 game for Canadian Builders. It's Martic now. 1-0 game for Croatia Adria, I'm sorry. Mike Svalina on the near side. Svalina to the inside to Ashton, intercepted by D'Agostino. Barrett against Svalina. Svalina cranks that ball up in the air. It's McTaggart bounding it back to Svalina. Not able to get good control of it, Svalina. It's now Nicolucci, Renato Nicolucci being bothered by Bellio. David Barrett with that ball, chipping it to the inside to Severnek. Severnek trying to turn, he does, but it's Shannon. Joshua Shannon does a good job of intercepting that ball. Now turning to the inside. Unfortunately, a little bit on the long side as Mike Svalina is not able to turn and retrieve that ball.
Yeah, the play in this half, the beginning of this half, seems to be getting taken away from the middle of the field, and maybe that's a good idea for Adria to stay away from there, because Canadian Builders do have the habit of controlling the middle of the field, and that can cause you lots of problems.
So Mario Cherry rebounds a ball off Nujoko, and that results in a throw-in. It's Pressa now for Canadian Builders. Long throw-in to, I believe, Timpano. No, that's D'Agostino, but it's Martic who prevails. Back to Cherry. Pressat now. Don Prest, I mean, on the inside, Nujoko. And it's Pressat who pounces on that ball. And it's chipped back here. It's finally George Machasuki who receives that ball to Ashton, Brian Ashton on the near side. Chips it forward, but we've got ourselves an offside situation. A close offside, but nonetheless an offside.
Yeah, Chris Bosted, he wasn't too far off that time, but indeed he was offside, but very close. And linesman made a good call.
So we've got Michael Timpano on the far side now. Michael Timpano loses that ball. Njoku now moving forward. Timpano still with him. Ooh, Timpano gets taken down from behind by Njoku, and the referee awards the free kick to the Canadian Builders team. Robert McTaggart. Gets set to launch this ball. It's a short launch to Severnek. Severnek moving on the far side with Njoku. And Njoku again is able to get his foot on the ball, and we will have a throw-in for Peter Kresho-Severnek. Kresho with the ball to Barrett. Barrett gets it back, but it's Shannon there. Joshua Shannon now looks like to Brian Ashton. Brian Ashton streaking down the field. The ball is directed out of play, and it's the Builders ball. Throw in for Mario Cherry. To the inside for Renato Nicolucci. Nicolucci is able to get that ball up. Svalina chips it back to Bellio. Bellio not able to gain control. It's Prest now. Prest puts it up to DiGiacomo Antonio. DiGiacomo Antonio with a couple of Croatian players. Svalina not able to gain control of it. Back to Nicolucci. Renato Nicolucci, number 13, on the far side to Prest. Number 4, Pressot, I should say. It's Mario Cherry who gets unceremoniously taken down by, I believe that's Joshua Shannon. Looks like the referee has decided to give Mr. Shannon a verbal warning. Mario Cherry now with the ball from the foot of McTaggart, but Njoku's with him. Cherry gets a nice ball on the inside, but Bellio is there. It's Shannon now with the ball. Pressot retrieves the errant pass. Pressot to Cherry. Cherry looking to turn. Nice pass to Pressot. Pressot with Severnek now. Kresho-Severnek chips it to the inside. Vukovic is there as Vanko is able to clear it. Nicolucci now with the ball with a shot by Nicolucci, but not able to get his foot where he wanted, and that ball gets chipped to the outside. So with approximately 30 minutes left in this championship final game of senior minion soccer, we have a 1-0 lead in favor of Croatia Adria over the Canadian Builders. And with this short pause, we now see a substitution taking place. Amrico Tantello, number 19, I suspect he will go on the far wing side. And he does, or he's moving up into the striker position. And coming off the field was Robert McTaggart, and he now has been replaced by, it looks like Pressot and Prest. That's DiGiacomo Antonio. Now Mike Svalina getting that ball through. Prest is there first. Chris Bousted battling with him and got some very aggressive play, but the referee indicates that it's a free kick for the Canadian Builders. Referee instructs Mr. Bousted to calm down just a touch as Chris came in very, very tough on that tackle. DiGiacomo Antonio with a boot into the center. It's George Prest is up. George Montasuki, who was able to head that ball, but right into the hands of Chris Belanger. Belanger with a boot to the center. Cherry overruns the ball. D'Agostino gets it over to Timpano. Timpano tries to chip it forward to Severnek, but George Montasuki does well to get in front of that ball. Mario Cherry now passing it to Renato Nicolucci, who will do the honors for the throw-in. Nicolucci with a long one. In the box, Vukovic is up there first. Svanko Vukovic, Timpano back, but referee has indicated an offside. Referee in the far side there indicating that it looks like it might have been Mr. D'Agostino again or Mr. Barrett, but in any event we have a offside situation. And Croatia Adria will take the free kick from just a meter short of the top of the 18-yard box.
Yeah, the referee Bernie Burns is indicating to Americo Tantello that he must move back the proper yardage from the ball when Adria player is taking a free kick, and he's just telling them this.
Vukovic now to Njoku with a shot. Oh, beautiful shot by Njoku and an equally beautiful save by Robert Palladino. bounce now. Looks a couple of players up. Both Pavic and Svanko Vukovic up for that ball. Oh, a bit of a chip there by Shannon. Joshua Shannon now. It's D'Agostino now chipping it forward. It's Severnek with that ball moving in towards the center, and Belanger will be able to scoop that ball. Svanko Vukovic doing a good job of defending for Croatia Adria. Brian Ashton now with the ball, moving forward. Chips it to Njoko. He's got a lot of speed on the outside. He gets the ball moving towards the net. Takes a shot in front. Oh, beautiful interception by Don Press. The speed of Njoko looking for the striker, Mr. Chris Bousted, but Don Press does a beautiful job of getting in front of that one. Njoko now with a fast free kick. It's Spolina in front of the net. Chip. Oh, a nice chip by, I think that was Ivo Bello, but I'll tell you, or Shannon. And that could have resulted in another goal as well. So Croatia Adria putting some pressure on the Builders. Ball being directed into the Croatia Adria end. It's Samorico Tantello now with Bello. Tantello gets that ball. It's Barrett now against Bousted. How did Bousted get back here? He did, though. No, that wasn't Bousted. I'm sorry. David Barrett against, we're not sure who that player is at this point, but the Croatia Adria player is hurt, and the referee has requested the training staff of the Croatia Adria team. Still not able to get the identification of that player for you. See if we can do it here through a process of elimination. It looks like it may be Ivo Bello. And number 19, we understand. That's Niki Pavicic.
Yeah, good play there in the last couple of sequences there from Adria, putting the pressure on Canadian Builders. And Juko had the first breakaway, and I think a more experienced player would have hit that ball first time when Rob Palladino came out. But all credit to Rob Palladino. He made a beautiful save, and in the next sequence we had another good save by Palladino again. So Rob Palladino is certainly keeping them in the game in this half.
Giacomo Antonio with a through ball. Svanko Vukovic is able to get a piece of it. It's Mario Cherry now on the far side to Timpano. This action is getting fast and furious. Timpano with that ball loses it to Njoko. Here comes a streak by Njoko being challenged by Mariko Tantello, and he's taken down from behind. This game getting a little bit more intense, Mike. You can obviously tell that these two teams definitely want to win this contest.
Well, I think the Adria players realize that one goal isn't enough to beat Canadian Builders, and they got to pick up the pace a bit. As I said before the game, Adria is a much younger team, whereas Canadian Builders have got the mixture of the older and younger. But Adria got to give them long balls and now make the defense run.
Brian Ashton, that's Savlina. Njoko takes a shot. And any shot now is a precarious shot because of the field conditions. And Canadian Builders with some very fast players in the form of Njoko and Chris Bousted. They're very dangerous back there. If they do get through, they have a scoring, certainly an excellent scoring chance.
Yeah, I think what Canadian Builders are doing is Mario D'Agostino is on defense. He looks like he's playing right full back, and Donnie Prest is playing sweeper. But as they get into the Adria half and get close to that 18-yard box, they're hoping someone will swing the ball across, and Mario D'Agostino is very good in the air and will equalize the game.
So we've got a bit of a substitution there as Michael Timpano comes off, and number 9, Luciano Avalli, is on for Canadian Builders. So the Builders trying to get a winning combination here that'll put them back into this contest. Referee now looks like we may have had two players bumping heads. Renato Nicolucci close to the center of the field as we pause a bit here. It's Renato Nicolucci and Brian Ashton. Both players look as if they have bumped heads, needless to say, unintentionally, and they're now in receipt of some, at least, water, if not treatment. But Renato looks like he's all right.
Renato and Brian Ashton are very competitive players, and you're going to get that sometime with the momentum of the game. Players do knock into one another, and but they seem to be okay.
So everybody's okay. So let's get back to this game here. We've got Di Giacomo Antonio pushing it forward to Mario D'Agostino. Brian Ashton comes in to win that ball. Americo Tantello launches it. That looks like it may be out of play. Bounces now, and referee linesman has indicated that that is behind the line, and instructs the player to put the ball down for a Croatian Adrian goal kick. Short goal kick here to Brian Ashton. Brian Ashton being challenged by Americo Tantello. Bausted now with that ball. Bausted getting pushed off that ball by number 9, Lucio Valli. And you can't blame the Canadian Builder team with the speed of a player like Chris Bausted. I'm not sure you want to give him the option of making that turn and heading for your goaltender.
Like you say in hockey, that was a good penalty to take, but that one there was because he took him out with the body rather than anything else. He just steered him out over the line.
Michael Spallina and Brian Ashton playing magic with the ball. A nice cross on the far side to Shannon. Joshua Shannon, if he can hold it in, it looks like he can't, unfortunately, and so we'll get a goal kick for the Canadian Builders team. We're at approximately the 21 minutes left in this game, I should say. George Machasuki clears that ball in the Builders' end. It comes back to Zanko Vukovic, and that's way offside as Njoko got caught not coming out of his end.
Yeah, the younger players have got to learn to get back in their own end, or they're going to be caught on the offside trap all the time, and they got to learn to do this faster.
So it's Prest against Ashton. Prest prevails. Prest chips it on the near side. It's Pavic, I should say. And now it's Americo Tantello, the dangerous Americo Tantello, and it's Martic now. Martic is able to clear that ball out of harm's way. Americo Tantello, the streaker for the Canadian Builders. If he gets that ball and he's on the outside, he's coming for you. So an excellent job done by Martin Martic, number 17, for the Builders to ensure that didn't happen. Builders will get a throw in here. Well into the box, gets chipped back, but it gets kicked out of harm's way. Brian Ashton now for the ball with Croatia. He's looking for Bausted. He chips that through. Chris Bausted has an opportunity here again, going against Palladino. Bausted's in the net. Chris Bausted gets his second goal at the 20-minute mark.
Well, as we had mentioned during the game, that Adria is going to rely on those long balls into the Juco Bosted from Brian Ashton, and Brian Ashton is a very heads-up player. He knew where he plays well with Bosted and had a good idea where Bosted was going to be, and Robert Palladino didn't have any choice but to come out that time, and Bosted got the ball over his head, but I don't think he could fault the Canadian Builders goaltender with that goal. The defense were cut right up the field.
So Brian Ashton with a nice reaching pass to Chris Bausted, and Bausted does well to chip it over the goalie's head, I should say, and then that just dribbled right into the net. So with approximately 19 minutes left in this game, Croatia Adria enjoys a 2-0 lead at the foot of Chris Bausted, who has scored both goals for Croatia Adria.
But 2-0, after watching Canadian Builders for many years, 2-0 isn't. I've seen them coming back from deficits like this before, so Adria better keep up the pressure on Canadian Builders.
And there's a good example of that, Mike. Canadian Builders almost had an opportunity to regain one of those goals. Ashton working hard to try to control that ball. Nicolucci now on the far side. Nicolucci's looking for Severnek, but that's intercepted by first George Machasuki and then Brian Ashton. Clearing ball comes to the near side, but that ball looks like it's going to run out of bounds. Mike?
Yeah, Canadian Builders defense better watch it. When you start putting the sweeper, better stay back away from Chris Bosted and put the centre back on Bosted, because when he can fly, and I think it's a much safer defensive move to have your sweeper way back from him.
So we've got Mario D'Agostino chips by Giacomo Antonio. That ball almost got intercepted by David Barrett, but Chris Belanger lucky to have that ball bouncing from him. Oh, and there we got a bit of a high foot by Chris Bowstead. Mr. Pressott seems to be okay, and there will be a free kick awarded to the Canadian Builders.
Yeah, Chris Bowstead, as I said, he's a very, very aggressive player and chases everything, and put his foot up too high, and that was the reason for the free kick.
Michael Svalina now prevails for Croatia Adria. Michael Svalina with the ball to Chris Bowstead. Have we seen this before? Chris Bowstead with the ball, moving to the top of the box. Chips it nicely to Njoku with an opportunity, turns. Oh, he's taken down by Robert Palladino.
I think we're going to see, I don't know if it's a penalty shot. It certainly
looks like it
could be one. And I think the referee, Bernie Andrews, did in fact indicate that no doubt it was a penalty, and the goaltender may get a yellow card for this.
So we have a penalty shot situation. That play was developed by Mike Svalina on the near side. A nice through pass to Chris Bowstead. And Chris Bowstead in turn made a nice pass to Njoku. And Njoku was taken down by Robert Palladino. We have a red card issued, Mike. So
what happens in a case like this is that the Njoku was coming into a scoring position, and he was indeed in a scoring position that he had, and the goaltender did take him down in the penalty area, and an infraction like that is like handling the ball and stopping it from going in the goal. You get an automatic red card.
So Robert Palladino, unfortunately, having no option but to take Njoku down, is faced with having to be ejected from the game, and equally important, Croatia Adria will get a penalty shot here, and if things are not desperate now with a 2-0 lead, it may be even more desperate if in fact Croatia Adria is able to score on this penalty shot.
Yeah, the difficulty you get with a goaltender being in a position like that, he doesn't have any choice but to go to the player, and he may not intentionally want to go and hurt the player. His intention is to get that ball or stop the player, and when you do that, you're in the red card area, as we say. And the referees don't have a choice a lot of the time, but to give the player a red card.
So going in net now for the Canadian Builders is Krešo Severnek. You've heard us refer to him occasionally as Peter, but Peter would be essentially his Canadian English name, and Krešo is his Croatian name. Doing the honors is Chris Bowstead, so we're looking at a potential hat trick here. And it's a beautiful save by Krešo Severnek. Chris Bowstead attempting to get the left-hand side of the goal, but Krešo Severnek earns his money and does an excellent job of stopping that ball.
If someone asked me to bet on whether Chris Bowstead was going to score that goal, I certainly would have given them odds, but I also see Baggio miss one in the in the World Cup, so that happens. But good save by Krešo Severnek, and that save will give Canadian Builders some confidence that they can fight back. And as I said before, Adria better be careful not to sit back on a 2-goal lead, because Canadian Builders are going to come after them.
So with that, we've got a substitution. With number 17, Michael Timpano, comes into the pitch, and number 9 comes off for the Canadian Builders. David Barrett battling against Mike Svalina. Referee says Mr. Svalina crowded Mr. Barrett, so Don Prest will do the honors for Canadian Builders. Pass over here to Renato Nicolucci. He's not going to quit. George Machasugi clears that ball. Pressott now launches it in the center of the field. Nicolucci doing battle. It's Brian Ashton chips it forward. Mike Svalina here on the near side, and he's got Chris Bowstead to the inside. Now to the outside goes Bowstead. Can he reach that ball? Yes, he does. Heels it back. Comes back nicely. Svalina in front of the net. Njoku scores! Njoku. What a goal! Mike Svalina, Chris Bowstead Posted and Ujoko making mincemeat of the Canadian Builders.
Well, as we see with about a little over 12 minutes left, that Croatia Adria now 3 goals to nothing over Canadian Builders. But I think what happened on that goal was there were only 2 Canadian Builders back on the fence, and you seen the speed of Bostad. He stopped the ball going out, and Swilina put her across to Njoko, who put her under Kresho Sevniak.
Nice effort by Kresho Sevniak to pounce on that ball, but unfortunately it squirted underneath him, and Njoko gets his first of the contest, but in fact it's the third for Croatia Adria. So with approximately 12 minutes left in this game, we've got ourselves a 3-0 game for Croatia Adria. The Builders certainly have their work cut out for them with about 12 minutes left in this game, if in fact they're going to be able to get back into it. Now, if there was ever a team, Mike, that is not going to quit, I'd put my money on the Canadian Builders, although this is clearly a very, very difficult uphill battle for them to...
Yeah. I think, as you see on your screen there, the referee has given Chris Bostad a yellow card. As I said, Chris is a very aggressive player, and I think he got a little high with his foot that time in between 2 Canadian Builder players, and the referee has to give them the cards and keep control of the game.
Nicolucci with a launch. Belanger gets a piece of it. Mariko Tantello tries to clear it away, and it's Nick Pavlovich. We've got a bit of a rough situation in front of the net. And we need some control out there, guys. Take it easy. Hopefully cooler heads will prevail, and it looks like we've finally got to that point.
You'll see the European style of refereeing here is that the referee has no intention of going in and stopping these guys fighting. That's not his job. His job is to sit back and take numbers, and when the scuffling finishes, the referee will apportion the cards, and I personally think the referee has kept good control of this game, because you and I have seen many games between Canadian Builders and Adria, and they've got a little more than what I would call aggressive soccer. They got to the point of being chippy, and I think some of the boys have got to remember that this is soccer and not hockey, and you can't push after the whistle, and you can't go in and hit the goaltender. You can do that in hockey, which is within the rules, and I love to see that when I go watch the hockey games, but as you do too. But in soccer, you cannot go in and hit the goaltender after the ball is being cleared out, and this causes a lot of problems in soccer.
So it looks like we have an ejection to the goalkeeper, Chris Belanger. And I'm not sure at this point whether that's all that's going to be called, but it appears not, as the referee is calling Mariko Tantello to the forefront. And as Belanger switches jersey because somebody else has got to come in as a substitute, the referee is speaking first to, I believe that's Mario D'Agostino, Mike.
That's correct. He has, and he quite rightly so. It's not the job of the referee to go in and stop fights, as the linesmen do in hockey. He's also issuing a red card to Mario D'Agostino. He feels the people who started this were the goaltender for Adria, Chris Belanger, and Mario D'Agostino, and at least I thought he gave him a red card. Maybe it was a yellow card. So Mario D'Agostino has got off lucky that time. He's given him a yellow card. The referee feels that the instigator of that instance was the goaltender for Croatia Adria. So we have an even game now with 2 goaltenders being ejected.
I can't remember the last time this happened.
I haven't seen that for a while.
Goalkeepers being ejected from the game. In any event, we have substitute goalkeepers, but both teams are playing a man short, which evens up things. Anyways, it's Michael Timpano now for the Builders moving forward. Brian Ashton strips that ball. It's Brian Ashton moving up with Chris Bousted. Will he ever stop that kid? Don Prest gets the ball away from him. Ashton to Nick Pavicic intercepts. Don Prest back with the ball for the Builders, chips it through to Americo Tantello. Whoa, the linesman on the far side has indicated that Americo was offside.
Well, we got even. We got 10 players on each team now, Frank, with the 2 goaltenders being ejected. And like you say, I haven't seen that for many years. Certainly not in Sudbury for many, many years. But the referee doesn't have any option when things start to flare up like that. And you gotta, if you want to control the game, then you gotta eject somebody.
So with about 7 minutes left in this contest, Canadian Builders are still looking at a void, which sees the Canadian Builders, Croatia Adria with a 3-0 lead. The far side now with that ball, it looks like it's Shannon, Joshua Shannon. It's Mario Cherry now, Nujoko who keeps that ball in play. Referee has indicated that the ball has gone out, so Krzysztof Severnak, the goalie replacement for Croatia Adria, is going to take the kick. Launches that one forward. And it's Michael Timpano now for the Builders. Michael Timpano battling there with Ivo Bellio. Bellio does well to control that ball. It's Timpano now retrieves that ball, gets it back to Nicolucci. Renato Nicolucci moving to the forward to D'Agostino. Nicolucci takes a chip. And it's Americo Tantello will take a shot at it. Unfortunately, Americo not certain as to whether to use his left and right. But either way, he loses control, and the Builders will get a goal kick.
Well, Frank, seeing this is our last game and last telecast for the 1994 season, I want to thank you on behalf of the Sudbury Men's Soccer League for taking the time, and certainly for all the support you give soccer here in Sudbury, and again all the TV7 crew for taking the interest in our sport, and I certainly appreciate it. I should say Cable 7. I have been corrected, and I keep making that mistake.
And we should mention, Mike, that they're a very, very professional crew as well. They've done an excellent job in telecasting these games. Chris, I think that's Chris Bassett. No, that's not Chris Bassett. That was Ivo Bellio. In any event, it's the press out on the far side for Canadian Builders. Now with the free kick, it's Renato Nicolucci. Got a throw in now. Referee indicates not a free kick, it's a throw in. So Renato Nicolucci with the ball, passing it back to Pressat. Pressat back to Nicolucci. Nicolucci back to Pressat. Pressat here on the near side to Don Prest. Prest chipping it forward to Mario D'Agostino. Mario D'Agostino to Timpano. And Michael Timpano now turns, chips it to Americo Tantello. Tantello takes a shot on the far side. It's Nicolucci that scores! Renato Nicolucci at approximately the 5-minute mark for Canadian Builders. It's not over until that lady sings. So
well, we've mentioned it a couple of times during the game that Canadian Builders do not give up, and I think one game here during the year we've seen them being 4 goals down and come back to tie the game, and I believe it was against Adria. So even with a little over 4 minutes left in the game isn't over yet.
Canadian Builders don't know how to say quit, so we're going to be in for an interesting 5 minutes here. Michael Timpano to Americo Tantello, and then to Renato Nicolucci make this a 3-1 contest. It's Shannon. Shannon kicks that ball to Severnak. Severnak handles it easily. Krzysztof Severnak now is going to be interested in getting that ball down to the field as quickly as he can. Michael Svalina is up there first, but we've got a way offside situation. Referee says play on. Severnak with another kick, and Svalina's up there first. It's Nujoko now with a lot of speed on the far side. Mario Cherry challenging to pass back to Shannon. Shannon on the inside to Chris Bousted. Chris Bousted with Brian Ashton on the inside. Bousted looking to the outside now, still with possession of that ball. Nice challenge by Prest to Americo Tantello. Tantello looking to turn, be bothered by Svalina. Nice through ball to Michael Timpano. Canadian Builders moving in now. It's Michael Timpano here on the near side, trying to get by Ivo Bellio. He gets taken down, so referee says play on though. Michael Timpano is down, but the referee says play on, and it's Mike Svalina. Svalina to Nick Pavicic. Pavicic clears the ball in the center to Pressat. Pressat to Americo Tantello. D'Agostino to Nicolucci. Renato Nicolucci moving forward. D'Agostino now with that ball. It's Nick Pavicic. Whoa, we've got a player taken down there, and it looks like the referee is going to award a free kick to the Canadian Builder team.
Yeah, Adria getting a little, I think, getting a little sloppy on defense, and you know, they better be careful. I keep repeating myself, the Canadian Builders don't quit. They play for 90 minutes, and here's another scoring opportunity for Canadian Builders, and you get the experienced players like D'Agostino and Renato. Adria better be very, very careful here. That'll be a 3-2 game.
So this shot is coming right at the goalkeeper. No, it's a chip through to DiGiacomo, who takes a left footer at it, but Mr. Martic, I believe, I think that's Mr. Martin Martic, is able to get on top of that ball. Martic now, I believe that's number 17. Chip kicks that ball towards the center. It's Bousted directs it back. Kresha Severnik is chasing that for the Builders, but it goes out of bounds. So unfortunately, Severnik gets his foot on that ball, so it's throw-in for the Croatia team. Brian Ashton now to Bousted. Chris Bousted with that ball, turns, still with control, moves towards the center now. Chris Bousted moving to the front, taken down there by DiGiacomo. So Bousted at the top of the box does well to get an infraction called against the opposition.
Yeah, we've seen in the previous sequence of plays on either end where Bousted went down nearly in the box, and so did Timpano. And what happens is the player, once they get close to there, they try to dive a little bit, and the experienced referee, of course, picks that up and calls the play on.
Won't get fooled by that, that's for sure. In any event, we've got a corner kick, as Brian Ashton took the shot off of one of the Canadian Builders. Looks like it was his head. And as a result, the Croatia Adria will get a corner kick here with about 1 minute and 14 seconds left. And we've got a situation where the referee is the official timekeeper, and so in essence, this game could go on for another 2 or 3 minutes past the clock time. It's Chris Bousted again now, getting a break. Bousted moving forward, chips it forward, and over the net. Chris Bousted with an opportunity to get 3 goals here.
We should point out, as we do use the clock here for our for the TV, at the request of the referee, we do have to stop the clock at 2 minutes to go in the game, because the teams think that the clock is the official timing, and as Frank pointed out, the referee is the only one who can call the official game over and the official time. And whereas we'd like to keep running the clock up past the 2 minutes, on the instruction of the officials, we have to shut it off.
So this game is virtually into injury time. We'll have to keep an eye on the referee, but we're very close to its completion. And Shannon now, Joshua Shannon moving forward for Croatia Adria, still with control of the ball. He takes a shot at Severnik. Slippery condition, but Severnik gets the ball and chips it out, falls in the process. Svalina now, and taking no prisoners, kicks that ball out of play. And the Croatia Adria team very happy to get that ball out of play and waste as much time as they can. It's Belio now. Svanko Vukovic with that ball. Nicely gets away from Enrico Tantalo. Passes it to Njoku. Njoku with a lot of speed. Moving up with Shannon. Joshua Shannon on the outside. Njoku to the inside. That ball comes off on Njoku. DiGiacomo Antonio launches it forward. And Peter Severnik is there to retrieve it, the goalie for the Canadian Builders.
Canadian Builders, I think, should be thankful to Njoku that he didn't look the other side of the field. Chris Bousted was in there on his own, and it could have been resulted in another goal.
DiGiacomo Antonio with a through ball there, but there isn't any Canadian Builder player, so Martic handles that ball to Svalina. Svalina chips it up. It's Ashton here on the near side, Brian Ashton. Ashton chips it forward to Bousted, but he's clearly offside. Referee indicates free kick to the Canadian Builders. Possibly seconds left in this game. 3-1 in favor of the Croatia Adria team. Campano loses it to Svalina. Svalina, nice turn by Svalina to the inside to Ashton. Ashton with his ball moves it to the outside. It's Bousted now. Chris Bousted with that ball tries to move it to the inside to Brian Ashton. He does. We've got a battle here. Ashton wins the battle. Shot by Brian Ashton. That's going in. It's goal! Croatia Adria with their 4th goal in injury time here. And I think that pretty well does it, Mike. Not the Canadian Builders.
Well,
Still got 3
I think
goals.
I think we're down close to full time here, and I think that goal certainly would knock the steam out of any team coming back. But there's not enough time to come back. Would have been 4-1 down, even being 3-1 down at this time of the game.
So that's pretty well it is. We've got literally seconds left to go. And we should mention that it's a valiant effort by the Canadian Builders, but time has expired, and as you can see by the score, we're looking at a 4-1 contest for the Canadian Builders. We should close by saying that the Canadian Builders Croatia Adria is the league champions, having won the league, and now, as you've witnessed, are in fact the playoff champions, Mike.
Well, Croatia Adria, you know, deserving of this win this evening. They did go through the league, being undefeated, and they came out tonight to play. And full credit to Canadian Builders. They didn't give up when they were 2 down and they were 3 down. They still coming back and got to 3-1. But I think Canadian Builders ran out of time tonight and didn't get going quick enough to come back from that deficit.
So an excellent effort on the part of both teams. Croatia Adria prevailing with a 4-1 victory in the city champions of Sudbury Senior Men's Soccer. This is Frank Malvasso along with Mike Dowling wishing you farewell until next season. Take care.